Hey guys, this is my SFF PC. I've had it for almost 2 years and I thought I'd make a video about how it's been. So I've built this almost 2 years ago and well, I'll just go over just a list I made about it and final conclusions at the end. So when I built this almost 2 years ago, one of the main difficulties was to find a CPU cooler for this. There is one now called a Louqe. It's the Ghost S1 edition for this, and that one, it's actually the Louqe L12, just without the top fan. So back then when I built this PC, I had to track down a used L12 just because they weren't selling them anymore, and that was considered the top CPU cooler for this case. So eventually I did track down a CPU cooler. I bought it from overseas, had it shipped here, and that was okay. Also had to look for a motherboard. I used the ASRock Z390 ITX. I had to bring that from overseas, and just generally to research what fits and what doesn't fit. In this case, back then, almost 2 years ago, there wasn't a whole lot of information about this, so there was some that was helpful, but not like today. So if we look inside the case, I'll just take that's the top off. That's the internals of my one. I have, well, right now I don't have the Louqe L12 anymore. I just replaced it about a month ago to this Louqe L9i, just because the Louqe L12 radiator blocks this entire front, and I just wanted this for a cleaner look. Plus it was blocking the Trident Z. As funny as that is, I did want to be able to see the LEDs shine up. I did get custom cables for this case, and I also have the SF750. One of the questions that people have about small form factor cases is, do they heat up? In my experience, this does not heat up any more than another PC. Actually, I found out that it heats up a bit less, because it seems to me like it's just easier for it to suck in fresh air from the outside than a traditional sized PC. So in that regard, if you were thinking about building an SFF PC and you were concerned about heat, I would say don't be concerned about the heat. It's not as big of a problem as people think. And also regarding dust, so as you can see, the side panels of this case don't have a dust filter anywhere, and I've not had a dust issue with this PC. And I don't know, I guess it's just dust comes in and goes right out. There is a little bit of dust, but there is no dust problem, I wouldn't say. So I would say the advantages of a SFF PC is being small. So if you put it on your desk, it doesn't block your whole view. So like, let's say if you take this and you put it on the side somewhere, it doesn't block your view like a big size PC would. I see it as an advantage. And also you can, if you wanted to, take it anywhere you'd like. Because it's so small and convenient, you can just carry it with your own two hands, not a problem. Just pick it up, put it anywhere you want, and go on. Which you can't really do with a traditional sized PC. We don't need big PCs anymore. Like back in the day when you built an ATX sized case PC, you were putting in these massive 3.5-inch hard drives, and you were putting in CD drives, and a lot of us don't do it these days. And I do see a lot of ATX PCs around with just having, you know, like your motherboard, and they have your CPU cooler, your RAM. A lot of the SSD drives are now NVMe drives that just go right into the motherboard. In this case, the NVMe drive is right under this heatsink. I also have one right behind the motherboard. And when you look at these ATX PCs, a lot of them, you just see like empty space. You don't need this big bulky thing in front of your eyes. I mean, even if it's on the floor, you don't need it, and if it's on your desk, then that's even worse. So why not just build a small form factor PC, right? I will admit that building this PC cost more than it would have if I built an ATX PC. Just because the power supply costs more money. This 750 watt power supply costs more money than if I did buy a traditional sized ATX power supply. So if you do consider building a small PC, it will cost you more money, but that's just the price you'd have to pay to go smaller. I do suspect that prices will drop in the future when more parts are available, and I hope it gets more popular, but for now, I think it does cost more money to build. Also, these custom cables cost money that, you know, otherwise if I'd built in a normal PC, a traditional PC, I wouldn't have bought. Final conclusions about SFF PCs. I am really happy that I built a small form factor PC. I've really enjoyed it. I've been able to put my desktop on my desk and not underneath or on the floor or anything, and I actually put it behind the screen on my desk, and it made it really comfortable to be able to have my desktop on my desk, running all the cables right next to me, and you never have to reach down and look for, you know, if you need to plug or unplug something. It's always right there. Also, I can just, you know, look at it, something maybe some of us do that, so you can just look at it right in front of you. And yeah, I can just pick it up and go, even though I'll admit I haven't done that a whole bunch, but I did a couple times, and that's been helpful. So I definitely do not regret building an SFF PC, and I think that from now on in the future, if I build PCs, they'll probably be small form factor PCs, unless there's a special need for something big like a CD drive or 3.5-inch drive. But otherwise, yeah, I'd definitely recommend building a small PC. I think everyone will enjoy it. Have you built a PC recently, or did you consider building a small form factor PC? Let me know down in the comments. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Bye everyone.